What is going on, guys? I have already spoken to you several times now about the ongoing sort of independent, individual user-driven project to bring Windows 11 to Microsoft's Surface Duo. This is being taken on by an individual by the name of Gustav, who has posted several different videos at this point, pictures, and indeed files for you to install this yourself on your Surface Duo should you choose to do something like that. You can see here we have a full desktop, only one screen working at the moment, but we do have a full desktop. We have the ability to boot into Windows 11 on a Surface Duo, but there's been a lot of work that needs to be done on something like this, right? So Windows 11, Surface Duo, they're not really meant to run together. So there's a lot of work just involved in getting this to boot, let alone making it be something that is worth doing. Now, like I said, he's already released the stuff where you can go download it, and if you want to do this, you can install it. Probably not something you should be doing yet because it's going to make your Surface Duo pretty much unusable when it's in the Windows state because there's just really not much that you can do. But Gustav did finally post another long update thread on Twitter about sort of the progress that they have made on this project. So let's look at this thread here and let's kind of talk through how this is coming along. Okay, so the first tweet here is during the weekend, most core SoC buses were brought up with only the SPI left. Unfortunately, that's blocking touch from working now. So this is an important thing that we need to talk about. The touch screens are not working. So that is something you have to deal with. I assume that, you're going to be restricted to using like a USB-C hub, a mouse, and a keyboard and something like that to be able to get around. Hopefully touch does come along. All temperature sensors, but 2 of them, are correctly showing up and are fully working now. This is used to dynamically adjust the CPU core frequency, so that's good. So that is another big thing here. So he tweeted back in February that all the CPU cores were now boosting properly on Duo. So now, with these temperature sensors working, you're going to should be considerably better performance because Windows is just going to know sort of where it can push things and where it can't, and that should help out quite a bit. This is a pretty big one though. People may have noticed on the previous tweet that they mentioned of Bluetooth, and yes, Bluetooth is now fully functional. So that is a really big one because again, you don't have access to your touchscreen. So perhaps at this point you could pair a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard and make that situation quite a bit better from there. So that's definitely good to see and a step in the right direction. A lot of work has been done on the subsystem side, but it's not functional. Firmware for audio/cameras are correctly being loaded and started. So there's progress being made there too. And this really kind of underscores to me how much more difficult this is, and I think a lot of people want to think that it is. There are so many small things that have to be made to work correctly, so many drivers that he's basically just having to create to get this stuff to work. It's incredibly impressive what he's accomplishing so far. Work on the GPU driver has begun. This is a big one, guys. Currently, it only stays alive for 2 seconds before exiting due to a power issue. I can't reliably show a picture with the GPU window animations, but it does work for 2 seconds. So the reason this is big is because without a GPU driver, you're only going to have one screen. And as you probably saw in like this video here, that's the situation. There's only one functional screen. So he says he's got the GPU driver working for about 2 seconds before it dies. Both panels get initialized during these few seconds, but end up completely frozen afterwards. Might be due to the driver dying. So there is progress being made on that. That is another really big one. So to me, touchscreen and then dual screen are the 2 biggest possibilities. Now, what I would love to know from this, and I might just ask him here, for the 2 seconds that both screens are on, how does Windows treat them? Are they seen as 2 independent monitors? That would be very important to know, and I hope that that is the case. If I get a response back from him, I will update this in some way. I will let you know whether it's a pinned comment on this video or a community post or something. I will make sure that you guys do know about this because that's a really big question that needs to be answered. And now, curiously enough, there is one more thing that I do need to show you that isn't necessarily progress, but it's extremely interesting. So if we scroll up here, we go to the initial post, and then we scroll back down, and we look at the replies here, you will see this. A reply from Windows developer, this is the verified account, saying, "Hi Gustav, we're interested in collaborating with you on a project. Please DM us for details." Now, we don't know what this means. We don't know what this project is. It appears that Gustav is all in on it. He's willing to hear what they have to say, but we don't know what this project is. Now, I want to let you see what Daniel Rubino tweeted about this. He said, "No, it won't be an official port of Windows on Surface Duo. which I can't even fathom being a great experience, but it is still very interesting. And that's kind of where I'm at too. I don't know what this means. I don't know what this project is. It could literally be anything. And of course, as I said to Daniel, we're now going to be ready to be hearing about how this proves Microsoft couldn't do it and that they needed Gustav's help to get it done, which of course is not the case. That's not what ever happened with this situation. But at any rate, extremely interesting. And for now, that's pretty much where we are on this Windows 11 on Surface Duo project. Still a ton of progress that needs to be made, but I'm really impressed with how far he's come with this. Now, there's something I kind of wanted to say here before I end this video, and it's something that I see a bunch. I see this in a ton of comments anytime I talk about this. People say, this is what Microsoft should have done. It's embarrassing that this person is doing what Microsoft could not do. We need to nip this in the butt right here, okay? So he's not doing anything that Microsoft could not have done. Microsoft could have quite easily put Windows 11 or Windows 10 or Windows 10X, whatever they wanted, on Surface Duo and made it run better than this, right? They would have had all the drivers. They could have made this. They could have done exactly this to its completion. They could have released that. They did not want to, and there are really obvious to me reasons why they would not want to do that. Bare bones Windows 11 on Duo is not going to be something that would have been good to release to the broader public, okay? You're talking about a device that is already a very niche device, and you're talking about making it the most niche of niche devices by making it run a desktop operating system, okay? And people say, oh, you'll have Android apps now because you can emulate them. Well, hopefully you watched the video that I posted earlier about the Android emulation on Windows. It's not very good. So no, that is not a current solution to that problem. Not even remotely close to being a solution to that problem. And then on top of that, just the user interface. You're talking about, again, a desktop operating system on a handheld, on something that is quite small. That would not have been good to release. This would not have worked. This is not an issue of what Microsoft could not do. This was an issue of what they would not do. They were making their own operating system for this thing, right? It's going to be called Andromeda OS. Zach Bowden has literally posted, Bowden, I always say that wrong, has literally posted a video showing Andromeda OS on another device. You can see what it was supposed to look like. This thing had to have its own operating system. You could not put a desktop OS on this. Surface Neo was much larger than this, and it needed its own operating system to fully take advantage of the dual screen, to be able to span, to move apps back and forth correctly in a way that wasn't super awkward, just dragging a window back and forth like it's a desktop operating system, right? So again, just to underscore this, Microsoft could have done this. They chose not to. This is still very cool, and I'm as excited as any of you to see how this eventually pans out. And if it ever gets to a place where I think it's worth installing, I'll install it, and I will bring it to you, and I will talk to you about it. But let's not pretend Microsoft couldn't do this as well. This is not a slight at what this guy is doing. Not at all. I'm just saying Microsoft could have done it. They didn't want to. Guys, thanks for making it to the end of today's video. I will see you back here on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.